Welcome back, Symbaroomers. I've got one more big tier list for you, this time looking at the 31 rituals in the Advanced Player's Guide. Just like with the advanced abilities and mystical powers, several rituals are only available if you are playing a specific profession. We also have several higher rituals that are essentially the master level of a previous ritual, so you'll have to double down on the ritualist ability in order to access the higher ritual. Finally, there are some standard rituals that can be used by any mystic, but will be most useful to the traditions they fall under. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen one or two of my other Symbaroum videos, so I think you know the drill. I won't go into details on profession requirements or prerequisite rituals, I'm just going straight to the ritual's effects and how well I think it will serve you in the game. I'll go through each subcategory of rituals, starting with professions and higher rituals before looking at the standards. I'll give each ritual a letter grade for their appropriate tier, and at the end, I'll show you where I think the rituals rank against each other within their tier. Let's go. Our first ritual is a big one, Bloodstorm. This is an activated ritual, meaning you'll need to prepare it with the usual hour-long process, but then you unleash it with a combat action. The Bloodstorm then blinds all foes across a wide area and deals 1d4 damage over time that ignores armor without a save. That's extremely good, but Bloodstorm comes with the very fair stipulation of the Eye of the Storm. Your Mystic stands in the eye and is unaffected by the storm, as are any allies standing in melee range, as well as any enemies in melee range. This means that enemies caught in the Bloodstorm might be drawn towards getting into melee range with you, and there is potential for friendly fire if your party isn't positioned just right. I think this is a powerful but fair ability, and that is why I think it belongs in high A. Staff mages get a second special ritual all to themselves with Quake. Quake is an activated area of effect with potential friendly fire just like Bloodstorm, but unlike Bloodstorm, it deals you 1d6 temporary corruption upon activation. This is a weird caveat to have on a ritual, particularly since I think the prolonged Bloodstorm is stronger on its face than the one-time strike of Quake. Quake is still pretty good. Narratively, it can instantly destroy a wall or a bridge or whatever other structure is in your group's way, and strictly combat-wise, it can lay out a group of enemies while dealing 1d4 AoE damage, ignoring armor. Considering everything else on the table, I think Quake is a B. Our final profession ritual features the most text in the game, and I'm not going to type it all out, so expect a lot of paraphrasing. This is a premier ability, the reason you become a demonologist, and as a summon, you'd expect it to be an S tier. But let's read a little more to see if the risky abomination you summon to your side stacks up. Like other Yonder World powers, this ritual explicitly has the danger of summoning a daemon that can turn against you. You can counteract this risk with a magic circle. If all goes well, your choice of 3 daemons will do one task for you. The flying vindictive demon tries to kill a target. The seductive knowledgeable demon will answer a series of questions, and the robust guardian demon will guard a location from enemies while allowing allies to pass. Each daemon, sorry for mixing that up, has its own challenging stat block, though I have to say the least interesting and least competent is the vindictive daemon assigned to kill someone. The potential answers provided by the knowledgeable demon is more enticing, but there are several other rituals for answering questions that all come with lesser risk. I think the most enticing choice is the guardian daemon, boasting long claws that deal 11 damage. Still, whichever daemon you summon only lasts 24 hours, and you can only have one daemon summoned at a time. While it would appear versatile at first, I think that Summon Daemon is actually severely limited in application compared to its other summoning counterparts, plus the added dangers of sorcery and the Yonder World. This is a high C. Atonement is our first of 10 higher rituals. It is only available to confessors, and it is the leveled up version of Exorcism, which I placed in C tier. Atonement is a very flavorful ritual where the caster assigns a task to a sinner to perform, which will help purge their permanent corruption. I really like this in flavor, but mechanically, this strikes me more as something you give to a friendly NPC than something you want on your own character. For that, you take Purging Fire. Still, getting rid of permanent corruption is nice. I think this is a C. Blood Companion is the higher version of Familiar, an S tier ritual and a contender for best ritual in the core rulebook. If your familiar dies, you can recast the ritual to get a new one. Blood Companion does exactly one thing, and that is that this time when your familiar dies, you can resurrect that same familiar indefinitely. For a lot of people, this is D tier. It has zero mechanical advantage beyond saving the experience gained by your familiar. But for many people who go after a ritual like familiar, they will care deeply about their familiar enough to want to bring them back, making this a flavor win. I love my dog. I'm giving this one an A. Death Divination gives you a second chance to succeed on all tests for Necromancy, a low B tier Speak with Dead ritual. Boring, low C, thank you next. Deathlord is only available to Necromancers, a higher level of Raise Undead, which we'll have to talk about later. Deathlord is a second character, just like Patron Saint, Familiar, and Flame Servant, and it has an impressive stat block including a 1d12 damage weapon, full plate armor, and 15 strong with Iron Fist. This is S tier. Fata Morgana is the higher version of the C tier False Terrain. Fata Morgana essentially turns your false terrain real, which at first I thought was really cool until I saw that this ritual cost an additional 1 experience point. Are there some cool and creative applications? Absolutely. Is it worth a lackluster prerequisite and my hard earned experience? I don't think so. Fata Morgana gets our first D tier. Living Fortress is the higher version of Quick Growth, which I placed in D tier. Unlike the Virgin Wizard's Fata Morgana, the Chad Witch's Living Fortress absolutely fucks. The Living Fortress will actually kill foes trying to enter or exit with 1d12 armor piercing damage on each failure with no friendly fire. Fata Morgana only lasts 1 moon cycle, while Living Fortress lasts a full season. Both rituals require spending an experience point, which is a significant drawback, but I'd much rather spend it on a literal treehouse of horror. A tier. You gotta help me. These gays, they're trying to pierce me. Sorry, couldn't resist. Piercing Gaze is the Inquisitor's higher answer to the C tier Holy Smoke. It lets you re-roll your tests and see through Exchange Shadow. C tier, cool ritual, bro. Servant Daemon is the higher version of the recently reviewed C tier Summon Daemon, making the daemon you summon permanent. The first ritual takes on all of the risk, while Servant Daemon permanently binds the now more powerful second character to your service, making it into the S tier club. Spell Tunnel is the higher version of the B tier Clairvoyance. I like this one. The Spell Tunnel makes it so your mystical powers can reach into the space you are observing with Clairvoyance, which opens up a ton of possibilities. Spell Tunnel does nothing on its own, and this is clearly a combo piece, and the ritual description does stipulate that this is a two-way bridge, so enemies can fire back at you. But that won't matter much since you'll get the jump on them with Clairvoyance and then toss in your Bend Will and Burning Glass to wreak havoc. I think this is high B tier. Twin Servant gives the Pyromancer 2 Flaming Servants. You have 3 characters now. S tier, no notes. Now it's time to remove profession restrictions and look at standard rituals. Keep in mind that while each of these rituals have a tradition distinction that helps with tradition abilities, they may be picked up by a mystic of any tradition or a self-taught mystic for the price of 1 permanent corruption. Anoint is a combat prep ritual that gives you powerful boons in exchange for significant drawbacks. I love this ritual. There are stronger rituals on this list, and this one is not going in S tier, but the extra damage and protection combined with the potent flavor for your holy warrior is enticing enough to counter out the drawbacks. In my humble opinion, this is perfect game design. A tier. Bewitching Landscape creates a permanent environmental effect similar to False Terrain, but with more devastating effects. Like many sorcery powers, I get the feeling this one is more here for game masters than player characters, since you're frequently on the move and not defending one location. I'm putting this in C tier, but game masters should really take note of this one as an excellent trap for your players. Black Sympathy is a voodoo doll ritual that makes it so your target cannot heal until the ritual is broken. This can be an okay effect, but a lot has to go right for it, and enemies don't often heal unless you're fighting trolls. I like the flavor, but I'm sorry to say this is D tier. Burdened by Fate is essentially Symbaroum's take on Gios. It assigns a mission to a target creature, and as a clever little addition, the creature will actually get a small buff when performing that mission and a debuff when not performing the mission. This is very flavorful, and while limited in application, the buff is enough where I could see a player performing this ritual on a party member to help them out on their next quest. This is a difficult one to place, but I'm feeling a low B. Carve Rune Tattoo allows you to give out the Rune Tattoo ability as long as the subject pays some combination of 10 XP or corruption. I really like Rune Tattoo and gave it an A. And just like many players are drawn to the idea of a tattooed warrior, some players will be drawn to the idea of being a magical tattoo artist. Plus, bonus points for this being called Carve Rune Tattoo, just a really evocative and visceral word choice by the translators. While I do like this ritual, I feel it does fall more into the category of an NPC ability. Compared to other crafting abilities, it doesn't have the pricey drawbacks of C tier blacksmith or the powerful free items of A tier artifact crafting. I think I'm going to land this one in low B. False Shape creates an illusory image around you or your ally for 1 week that lets you take on a different appearance. I've seen a lot of players use Disguise Self in D&D to excellent effect in social scenarios, but occasionally for combat as well. And I've seen my share of changelings in Symbaroum, so we know that this can be useful. However, just like with the changeling's shapeshifting trait, you can't actually take on the shape of a specific individual, just a generic version of a type of cultural being. That still leaves a lot of possibilities, and the ritual does emphasize that it's hard to break the illusion, but this is a big limitation, and there aren't any explicitly mechanical bonuses. I put the illusion mystical power in B tier, so I think that's where false shape belongs as well. Faraway writing is a symbolism ritual that allows you to write a message at a distance. Useful, but not flashy. But then you see that you can write another symbolism power, and the possibilities really start to line up. This can be a powerful combo piece as well as a handy long distance communication tool. This is a B. Flesh Craft is a deliciously wicked ritual that allows you to give a more or less willing victim one or more monstrous traits for the price of permanent corruption suffered by the victim. I'm going to say it again. Perfect game design. This encapsulates the flavor of sorcery and corruption while playing around with monstrous mechanics. And while I think this is a villain ritual, a dedicated evil or at least mad scientist player character could have a lot of fun with this one. A tier. Life extension postpones 1 year of natural aging at the cost of an XP and an elixir of life. Flavorful and effective, but easily avoided by not making your character either very old or very vain. I do appreciate this ritual existing in the fiction, but it's a D from me, dog. Phylactery is a tightly written and potent effect equally enticing for a player character and the game master's villain. The extra caveats and costs are completely justified, and unlike D&D's resurrection and cloning effects, there is a limit on how far this ritual can serve you, complete with enticing lore implications. Even if you only use this once, it will be to avoid the permadeath of your character. This is high A tier. Raise Undead does exactly what it says on the tin. Surprisingly enough, there's no XP cost on this one, and in general, I have to say I'm a little perplexed at where Symbaroum's designers lay down the line on what has a bonus cost and what doesn't. Regardless, Raise Undead is very powerful. Even if you fail the check to bind the undead as a slave, you can use this ritual to bring back a party member or important friendly NPC. For slapping an undo button on death in a game with frequent death, I am actually going to give Raise Undead an S tier ranking. Restore is our first troll singing ritual, and it repairs an item. That's all it does, but sometimes restoring your best weapon or your crucial MacGuffin can turn the story around. I'm feeling a high C. Retrieve attempts to find an item. I say attempt because there are a lot of drawbacks, just like with Heretic's Trail, which I put in D tier. Heretic's Trail had the additional caveat of being broken by a body of water, and this one doesn't. And for that reason alone, I am keeping Retrieve in low C tier. Rune Guardian gives symbolism its own version of a second character. There are no drawbacks and no special boons. It's just great. S tier. Soul Trap is a sorcery ritual with very similar effects to the Elder Scrolls spell of the same name. Unlike in Skyrim, where you can then use the soul to power your enchanted items, the captured soul in Symbaroum does nothing. It seems to be here to just be cruel or possessive and to prevent others from using necromancy on the soul. It has no mechanical benefit and is easily undone. D tier. Spell Trap is a symbolism ritual that binds a non-symbolism power to a rune that can be triggered, similar to D&D's Glyph of Warding. There are many applications as a combo piece, especially considering that you don't actually have to know the power you are binding as long as another mystic helps you. This does have limitations as a trap and has a chance of friendly fire, but it's far from useless. High C. Torment is a strictly better version of Black Sympathy. In addition to the target not being able to heal, you can inflict a number of flavorful curses on the target, plus the mechanical effect of losing 1 toughness per week, potentially killing the target if your campaign runs long enough or weakening them before a big fight. This is a B. Traceless removes all physical traces left behind by you and your party. Interestingly enough, either 24 hours before or after you cast the ritual. It doesn't do anything against mystical detection, which, as we've seen, is common enough, and it shouldn't be mistaken for group invisibility, just making sure you can't be tracked. This isn't totally useless, so I'm not dropping it in D, but it's definitely low C. So we have our final rankings, and I'm impressed with the nice spread we have here. 5 S tiers, 5 A tiers, a healthy majority of B and C tiers, and only 4 D tiers. While not all of the advanced rituals impressed me mechanically, I really think the designers did a great job at fleshing out the magic of the world and expressing the various traditions and professions. There are some clear standouts that I'm excited to see in play, whether they're picked up by my players or if I'm using them on my villains and NPCs. And that is gonna wrap up this tier list series. If you've watched all of these videos, thank you so much for giving me the time to share my assessment, and I hope it helped you form your own opinions or at least gave you some ideas for your next Symbaroum character. These videos aren't the most difficult to make, but the process is tedious, and I have more projects I want to work on. So I'm going to offer a little game. If and when this video gets 200 views, I will do a bonus tier list of all of Symbaroum's professions and archetypes. Until then, check out the other Symbaroum, D&D, and RPG content on my channel. I hope your game this week is amazing, and you have a nat 1 day. Bye bye.